Liam locked the restaurant door behind him, the metal clicking softly in the quiet night. The street lamps hummed with a low golden glow, spreading light over the empty parking lot like a curtain slowly dropping at the end of a long day. He rubbed his tired eyes, thinking only of his daughter, Ella, waiting at home with her sketchbook and her endless questions. But before he could take another step, he heard the sound of unsteady footsteps behind the building. He turned and found Olivia, his boss, leaning against the brick wall. Her usually sharp posture had softened into something fragile. She tried to unlock her car, but the keys kept slipping from her fingers. A quiet tension gathered in Liam's chest, the kind that warned him something important was unfolding. He approached slowly. "Olivia? Are you all right?" She lifted her face toward him, and he saw confusion and sorrow swirling in her eyes. She whispered something, but the words tangled together. Liam stepped closer, catching her shoulders before she fell. In that moment, he felt the faint trembling running through her. Not cold, not fear, but the weight of something she had been carrying for too long. "Let me drive you home," Liam said softly. Olivia didn't argue. She simply nodded, as if she had run out of strength to pretend she was fine. As Liam helped her into the passenger seat, she murmured a name he had never heard before. A name that didn't belong to anyone at the restaurant, anyone in her life as far as he knew. "Harper," she whispered. Then silence. The drive through the dim streets felt almost unreal. Olivia's head rested against the window, and every few moments she would speak a broken piece of a sentence. Regret. Promise. Lost time. Liam tried not to listen, but each word pulled him in like a quiet tide. The road stretched long and empty, and the world outside the windows felt suspended. Olivia lifted her hand once, touching the air as if reaching for something only she could see. "You look like him," she whispered faintly. Liam's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Look like who?" But she didn't answer. She drifted into silence again, her thoughts locked somewhere he could not reach. When they arrived at her house, she stumbled slightly as she stepped out of the car. Liam caught her arm, steadying her. Her grip tightened around his sleeve, strong for a moment, desperate even, before she let go. Inside her living room, Olivia sank onto the couch. She looked at him as though seeing someone she had been searching for in a crowd. "Don't go yet," she whispered. Liam hesitated, unsure, but stayed. The rain tapped gently on the windows, filling the room with a soft rhythm. Olivia's eyes glistened. "I should have told you long ago." She closed her eyes, the remaining words slipping away. Liam waited, but her breathing steadied. She had fallen asleep. He draped a blanket over her shoulders and stepped back, watching her for a moment. The powerful, confident Olivia he knew at work vanished tonight, replaced by someone deeply human and deeply wounded. A quiet ache formed inside him. He left her house with a feeling he could not name. Something strange had begun. He felt it in the air, in her trembling hands, in the mysterious name she spoke. The sunrise waiting on the other side of the night carried something far heavier than he could imagine. Liam arrived at work the next morning with a strange heaviness following him like a shadow that refused to let go. Every sound in the restaurant felt sharper, every whisper seemed to point toward the unanswered questions from last night. Olivia had not arrived yet, which was unusual. She was always the first one in, moving through the rooms with quiet authority. When she finally walked in, Liam noticed how carefully she carried herself. Her hair was neatly tied, her clothes perfect as always, but her eyes held the softness of someone who had barely slept. She glanced at Liam for only a second before turning her face away. The staff greeted her, but Olivia moved past them quickly and disappeared into her office. Something about her expression stayed in Liam's mind. She wasn't avoiding the team. She was avoiding him. During the morning rush, Liam caught her watching him more than once. Each time he met her gaze, she instantly turned away. There was something unsettled in her silence, something she didn't know how to say. Later, when the restaurant finally quieted, Olivia stepped out of her office. Her voice was calm, but Liam could hear a faint tremble buried under her words. "Liam, can you come to my office for a moment?" He followed her in, noticing how she locked the door behind them. She didn't sit down right away. Instead, she stood by the window, her hands gripping the edge of the desk. "About last night," she began, but her voice faltered. She took a slow breath. I want to thank you. You helped me more than you know. Liam nodded gently. I just wanted to make sure you were safe. Olivia's shoulders sank a little, as if his kindness made it harder to hide the truth. I know I said things that probably didn't make sense. I didn't mean to worry you. Liam hesitated before speaking. You mentioned a name. Harper. Olivia froze. She didn't turn around. Her fingers tightened on the desk until her knuckles turned pale. When she finally faced him, her eyes were filled with something fragile. A fear he didn't understand. I shouldn't have said that, she whispered. Who is Harper? Liam asked quietly. Olivia opened her mouth as if to answer, but no words came out. Instead, she closed her eyes, fighting something inside her. There are things I've kept hidden. Things connected to your past more than you think. She shook her head. But I can't tell you yet. Not until I'm ready. Her voice cracked on the last word. Liam felt a soft pull inside his chest. He didn't know why her pain felt so personal, but it did. He took a small step forward, gently offering his presence without pushing for answers. You don't have to rush, he said softly. Olivia looked at him with an expression he had never seen on her face before. A quiet mix of gratitude and fear. Thank you, Liam, she whispered. But I'm afraid time is finally catching up with me. Before he could ask what she meant, she dismissed him with a tired smile. Go back to work. We'll talk again soon. Liam left the office with more questions than before. Harper. His past. Her fear. None of it made sense, but something told him that whatever Olivia was hiding was tied to a truth he had never imagined. Liam wakes up troubled by Olivia's strange words from the night before. At work, she avoids eye contact, but there is a quiet heaviness in her movements. Rumors begin floating among co-workers about her bad night, and Liam feels more protective than he expects. A small moment between them reveals the first crack in Olivia's usual strong and distant personality. The tension of the day lingered in Liam's chest, like a storm waiting to break. Every glance toward Olivia reminded him of the mysterious name she had whispered the night before, Harper. Why had she said it? And why did it make her so afraid? His curiosity battled with caution, each step at work feeling heavier than the last. When Mason, a troublesome co-worker, tried to blame Liam for a mistake on the order, the restaurant grew tense. Voices rose, customers looked on, and Liam felt the pressure. He stayed calm, explaining the truth, but Mason kept arguing, raising his voice louder. Then Olivia appeared in the doorway. Her presence commanded attention without a single word. The argument halted instantly. Olivia's gaze fixed on Liam, her eyes steady, sharp, protective. I checked the cameras, she said softly but firmly. Liam did nothing wrong. You need to take responsibility, Mason. Mason muttered an apology and walked away. The staff exchanged shocked looks. Olivia rarely intervened so personally. Liam felt a flicker of warmth, realizing that her defense wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. Later, after the rush, Liam received a message from Olivia. Can we talk after work? I'll wait in my office. His heart skipped. He sensed this conversation would uncover something important. He entered her office to find Olivia sitting on the edge of her desk, hands clasped tightly, as if bracing herself. Thank you for coming, she said softly, her eyes revealing more than her words. I need to explain something, Olivia continued, voice breaking. Something from your past, something you deserve to know. Liam leaned forward, his heart racing. You can tell me. Olivia swallowed hard. Your mother, she saved my life years ago. She asked me to look after you if anything ever happened. And I was too afraid to tell you, to interfere with your life. A silence fell, heavy and thick, filled with unspoken emotions. Liam felt a mix of shock, curiosity, and a strange connection forming between them. Olivia's vulnerability, her fear, and her honesty made him realize that the bond between them had deeper roots than he ever imagined. He nodded slowly. I'm ready to listen whenever you are. Her eyes softened, relief flickering across her face. The truth was coming, piece by fragile piece, and both of them could feel it, the past and present finally intertwining. The morning sunlight filtered softly through the restaurant windows, but Liam felt no warmth. The memory of Olivia's words, the mysterious name, the hint about his past, haunted him like a shadow that refused to leave. Every sound in the bustling restaurant seemed louder, every glance toward Olivia sharper, as though the truth she carried was hovering just out of reach. When she called him into her office, his chest tightened. Olivia was standing by the window, her back stiff, her hands gripping the edge of the desk. She didn't look at him at first, as though she needed courage to even begin. "Liam," she said softly, "there's something I need to tell you." Her voice trembled slightly. He nodded, leaning in. "I'm listening." She took a deep breath, her eyes clouded with emotions she had hidden for years. "I knew your mother, a long time ago. She saved my life when I was young, and before anything happened to her, she made me promise something." Her voice caught. "She asked me to look after you if she couldn't be there. And I failed." Liam's heart raced. He barely remembered his mother, only fragments of warmth and love, and now he realized someone else had been quietly watching over him all these years. "I stayed away too long," Olivia whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. "I drank last night because the anniversary of her passing reminded me of the promise I failed to keep." Liam felt a swirl of emotions, sadness, confusion, a touch of anger, and unexpectedly, gratitude. He stepped closer, his voice gentle. "You didn't fail her. You didn't know how to reach me. That doesn't make you a failure. You were human." Her eyes met his, vulnerable and sincere. "I didn't want to ruin your memories of her. I wanted to honor her, even if it meant staying silent." For a long moment, they stood in quiet understanding. The weight of hidden truths, the grief of years gone by, and the delicate beginnings of trust filled the room. Liam realized that the past had been leading them to this fragile, honest moment. "Thank you for telling me," he whispered. "I want to understand, and I want to move forward." Olivia managed a small, genuine smile, her relief almost palpable. Outside, the sunlight grew brighter, signaling a new beginning. Liam felt the heavy burden of the past lifting slightly, replaced by hope, understanding, and the fragile start of healing, for both of them. A few days later, Liam received a message from Olivia, asking him to come to her home. The invitation carried a quiet urgency, and he felt a mix of curiosity and anxiety as he approached the familiar door. Inside, the living room was bathed in soft morning light. Olivia was waiting, her movements careful, her eyes still shadowed with fear and hesitation. On the small table in front of her lay an old photograph. She picked it up delicately, almost reverently, as if handling a piece of the past itself. Liam leaned in and immediately recognized the woman in the photo, his mother, young and smiling, standing beside Olivia. A rush of memories and emotions swelled inside him, nostalgia, longing, and an unexpected connection to the woman who had quietly watched over him all these years. "I promised her I would watch over you," Olivia said softly, her voice trembling. "She saved my life, Liam. And she wanted to make sure someone would always be there for you." Liam's throat tightened. His mother's presence felt alive in the photograph and in Olivia's words. "Why didn't you tell me before?" he asked quietly, his emotions raw. "I was scared," Olivia admitted, looking down. "I didn't know if you would understand. I didn't want to interfere with your life or change how you remember her. I thought staying away was the safest thing." She placed the photograph on the table and finally met his gaze. "But now, I can't stay silent. You deserve the truth, Liam." A warmth mixed with sadness settled in Liam's chest. He realized that Olivia's distance had never been coldness, it had been caution, an attempt to honor his mother's memory while guarding him from pain. "I've carried her memory," Olivia continued softly, "and my own guilt for not being there. But seeing you, realizing how much I've held back. I can't hide anymore. I want to be there for you now, if you'll let me." Liam felt a wave of emotions, gratitude, sorrow, and a fragile trust blooming between them. The past and present merged in that quiet room, and he understood that this was more than a revelation, it was a beginning. For the first time, Liam allowed himself to feel hope, knowing that the bond between him, his mother, and Olivia could finally start to heal. The first rays of sunrise filtered through the curtains as Liam approached Olivia's home once more. The soft golden light touched everything in the room, casting a warm glow over the furniture and walls, but Liam's heart was heavy with anticipation. Today, he knew, the full truth would be revealed. Olivia stood by the window, hands clasped tightly, as if bracing herself for what was about to come. Her eyes met his as he entered, glistening with emotion. "Liam," she whispered, her voice trembling, "I need to tell you everything. You deserve to know the truth." She took a deep breath and began. "Years ago, your mother saved my life. She asked me, if anything ever happened to her, to watch over you. I promised her I would." Olivia's voice broke slightly. "But I stayed away too long. I was afraid. Afraid I would change your life, afraid I would ruin your memories of her." Liam listened, stunned. His mother's love and foresight had created a connection he had never imagined, a bridge between the past and the present. "Last night," Olivia continued, "I drank because it was the anniversary of her passing. The memories came flooding back, and I realized I could no longer keep the truth from you. I want to be there for you now, Liam, if you'll allow me." A flood of emotions surged through him, grief for the years lost, gratitude for her devotion, and an unexpected warmth from the bond that had finally been revealed. He stepped closer, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice soft but steady. "Thank you for keeping your promise, for caring, and for being honest. I want to understand everything, and I want to move forward together." Olivia's face relaxed into a small, genuine smile, relief evident in her eyes. The morning light wrapped around them, symbolizing a new beginning. For Liam and Olivia, the weight of secrets and the ache of missed years had finally lifted, replaced by trust, understanding, and the fragile promise of healing. In that quiet sunrise, both realized that the past had led them here, and the future, filled with hope, care, and connection, was theirs to embrace.